Hi, welcome to another Fajardo Friday Life lesson. This one is going to be a little raw because I just know that a lot of people have had experiences in life where they struggled with people who told them they couldn't do something. Usually, when I get this lesson to my students, it has to do with something that I'm doing that day, something silly or weird, or something where something I'm wearing. A lot of times, it ends up being like some interesting socks that I'm wearing. And they'll be like, "Why are you doing that?" And I simply say, "Because I can." And I love saying because I can. I can, especially when people tell me I can't or you can't. The thing is, when people have always said that to me, I have done the best to show that I really could. A lot of times, and when I say I can, I'm not talking about defiance you can't do that. I'm talking about confidence. I'm talking about empowerment. I'm talking about you have the capability and skill and talent to do things, and you have people standing in your way from that success. That's what I mean by I can. And once you have the understanding that you have the power to do things that you can, then a lot of other things come pretty easily, like being able to wear an interesting pair of socks because you can. Uh, this all kind of started really when I was little, and it had to do with wanting to become a teacher. And I knew, I think back when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I knew I was going to be a teacher. Whenever I asked I always said, I want to be a teacher. That or a lawyer, but really a teacher. And then people would look at me and be like, you, you, no, you can't be a teacher. You wouldn't be a good teacher. You're going to fail at being a teacher. All kinds of things said by all different kinds of people. And it was very painful. In fact, anytime for any situation, people said that I couldn't do something when I knew that I could, it was painful. And maybe it was just something in my head where I was literally, thinking like I can do this. When they said you couldn't, they meant more like behaviorally. I don't know. But when people would say you can't do this, in my head I'm like, no, I certainly think I have the ability to do this. Um, I have arms, legs, a brain. I'm smart. Sure, I truly, physically, I can do this. And I guess that's the biggest part about it is that if I truly, physically believe that I can do it, then I can. But people said no. And one of the hardest times was when I was in college and we were doing all different kinds of practicums, observations. And even then, people were like, "Are you sure you want to be a teacher? I just don't see you being a teacher." Yes, I can be a teacher. I know I can. And one of the people, I'm not going to show you the front of this because it would be telling. One of the people, this is part of the journal that I did and part of the evaluations and all the things that I did as I was doing observations and practicums. We were told to we had to put them in a binder and keep track of it and turn it in. And one time I was placed in a class with a teacher who had that look at me like apparently I didn't fit the profile of being a teacher and I didn't fit the personality of being a teacher. And they were very sure that I was not going to be a good teacher. In fact, they said we would fail you as a teacher. Oh, 20 years later, I am teaching, and I have been part of some huge changes where I've like they changed the curriculum, and a lot of the things that we do in the classes that we teach right now are things that I made, and I do presentations. I go to conferences and do presentations. I have sent students to nationals and debate. I was actually coach of the year a few years ago in the state. Apparently, I can be a teacher. Who knew? Except for me. So, the lesson that I think is important out of all of this is, and there are so many other examples of where people can say to you, you can't. The idea is, again, if you have the skill and talent and capability and the drive and do the hard work, because it's not easy. Like, if you're going to say you can do something, then you better follow through. If you are that kind of person and you have people standing in your way saying that you can't, but you really actually have an open door to be able to do so, then do it. Don't let them stand in your way. And if they ever tell you you can't and like that's it, that's how it is, then you didn't fail that challenge. You weren't even allowed to begin the challenge in the first place. So you're not a failure. They just kind of made it so that you point blank couldn't. And I think that's something worth keeping in mind when you go through things in life. And I have gained so much with this attitude or this perspective of, yeah, I can. I absolutely can. That's a really good way to kind of look at life when you say something like that. It's a powerful way. I encourage you. I challenge you to try to look at things that way and have that same kind of attitude where when somebody says you can't do something, yeah, I actually can. Thanks for listening.